I believe getting wealthy is easy. Essentially, you have to create dry powder, invested capital. You have to become elite at something. And then, of course, you need time. Why is it that most people don't go on this journey? I think it is what is called the middle class mindset. And to have this conversation, we're going to play a game of ping pong with Taylor from Life Goal Investments. And yes, we are having technical difficulties, but we are still bringing you the show. How you doing, Taylor?
Doing well. Thanks so much. This should be an interesting one because it'll be interesting. I haven't heard your thoughts, so I want to see if our thoughts agree or not. So let's do this.
All right. Well, you're the guest. I will let you go first and kind of set us off. When you think about getting wealthy, you have operated with the 1%, probably even the 1% of the 1% in your career on Wall Street. You obviously have lots of friends and family and are active in social media. So you're operating with a lot of just average Americans. What are some of the middle class mindset things that prevent people from getting wealthy?
I think the biggest thing that prevents people from getting wealthy is lifestyle creep, and this is something that we've talked about a lot. It's instead of staying disciplined and saying, "Hey, I'm going to stick with this vehicle, this house, this whatever it is, this wardrobe that I have until I can legitimately afford to upgrade it." They start to upgrade too soon, and whether that's because their friends, their neighbors, whatever it is, they're looking at them and saying, "Hey, I can do what they do," and they start to not allow themselves to grow that dry powder that you're exactly speaking about, that is such a necessity to growing wealth over time. Whether you're going to invest it in the stock market, whether you're going to invest it in real estate, whether you're going to invest it in yourself to grow, whatever it is, you need to set it aside and get it working for yourself so you have that dry powder to utilize and learn whatever skill it is. And I think the easiest thing that people get away from themselves with is lifestyle creep. This car was good enough 2 years ago, but now I can upgrade to this car because I made a little bonus at work and I can afford it. No, you can't afford it. You can't afford it if your dream is to become wealthy down the line. You can afford it if you want to look good right now.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I just want to hit on, my first one, is the school system. I mean, you and I
Oh, no
both have
doubt.
advanced degrees. You have certifications. Our school system, certainly through undergrad, is focused on producing good employees. In fact, I thought the whole goal of life was to go to school, get a good job, make a lot of money, buy a lot of stuff. I mean, that was the mantra that I grew up with. And nobody in my circle was wealthy, clearly. Near as I can remember, nobody had really any money to speak of. It was always just go sell hours. I didn't even know what really an entrepreneur was, until I started reading books, and that didn't really start until I was in college. So I think the school system doesn't teach money, doesn't teach investing. I didn't really learn about much of that until I, was getting my MBA, which is, 20 years of schooling or whatever the heck it is, or 16 years. So it's pretty wild to think that school system is, just produces employees.
It's sad to me that at this point we can't universally see a need for a personal finance course.
Yeah.
It it
In
it
high
it, it,
school.
it
In high school.
baffles me. It baffles me. It baffles me. The fact that I think it's about half the states, not half the states yet, have a personal finance course that is an elective, and some of them are mandating it. But the fact that we don't have it universally across the board, and I've heard the teachers' argument against this and why we haven't been able to institute it yet. And I don't want to say that it's laughable, but at the end of the day, it's they don't have the person with the expertise. And it's like, okay, because we can't find someone with expertise in personal finance, we're going to let every student that comes through our system fail at personal finance and have to learn all the
Uh,
lessons the hard way on their own. That's no excuse.
no, I couldn't agree more. What do you got for the next one?
Well, the other thing I'll say right in the same vein of because you touched a hot button with me on
I
the
like it.
education system is the cost of college is something that
Yes.
universally is not discussed. We don't put numbers around this is an investment. There is no other way to look at college besides for an investment. Yes, you grow as a person as you learn to interact with people from different walks of life and all of that. That definitely is advantageous for you as a person and as a business person down the line. But nonetheless, there is a cost to college, and that cost needs to be repaid. And yes, that was in question for a little bit with
Mm.
the student loan non-payment that we went through over the last 3 years, but I think we're coming out the other side and realizing that all student loans going forward are going to be repaid. And I think people, guidance counselors, whomever it is, need to do a great job of understanding time value of money. If you're paying out right now $100,000 for a 4-year education, this is what the ROI is if you have certain salaries down the line. And then you look at it and say, okay, if I pay more to go to college, is my salary going to commensurately go up to make that ROI better? It's all time value of money. And if we're not looking at it, we're doing ourselves and our students a massive, massive disservice.
I couldn't agree more. And just kick college in the nuts. I mean, the other thing I read this morning is the construction industry is short 650,000 folks, right? We're trying to build more homes and hospitals and manufacturing plants. We don't have enough folks in the construction in trades. A lot of that, some of that is certainly maybe on immigration. I think a lot of it is, I think if you're Gen X like me, I think we were raised that the answer is to go to school, right? Go get a college degree. I can't speak for everybody, but that's kind of, that was deemed successful. Trades bad, work with your hands bad, go to college, get a computer job, something like that. And
I think I'm a millennial for the record, and I think that absolutely was true with my generation as well.
Yeah. So I think what we're realizing now, and maybe Gen Z will prove us wrong, that there's a lot of money to be made in trades, going to get one of the trades out there. And I know people that are in the AC and construction business making 6 figures, just being individual contractors. And
well, think about it this way, and some of those have trade schools associated with it. Don't get me wrong, but like if you are coming out of high school at 18 years old and making $50,000, $60,000, and 4 years later you're making $100,000, whatever the numbers are, think about how much you're in a driver's seat relative to someone that just paid out $150,000 over the past 4 years and are now starting probably at similar salaries, and maybe they can grow, further throughout their career. I totally get that with an education, but time value of money rewards money earlier on in your life. So if you're able to get that job right out of high school and be diligent about putting money aside and investing it in whatever format that is, down the line, again, $100,000 at 25 years old is a lot better than $100,000 to invest at 35 years old.
Yeah, the time value of money is so important. You're so right. Taylor, do me a favor. Let's do one more and we'll wrap up this episode.
So the last thing is, I think that it comes down to also just what I just said there is the time value of money. So you need to be more diligent when you're younger at putting money aside and squeezing everything that you can out of your salary and keeping your life expenses as low as they can be. Because again, 30 years of compounded returns is significantly more powerful than 20 years of compounded returns. So I think earlier in life, you need to be more frugal than you do down the line. And I think it's easier, and people have to realize that it's easier to be frugal when you're 25 than when you're 35, which I've just turned 35 myself, and I'm about to have my 3rd kid. And I can tell you frugality is not as easy with 3 little munchkins, 2 right now and 1 to come running around, because they're expensive, and it's fun to do fun things with them and all of that. And when you're 25, you can just live a much cheaper lifestyle and be more considerate to what you're spending and put that money aside to help yourself, your family, whatever it is down the road in retirement.
Yeah, the last one I'll go to, could have been piggybacked on your first one, which was life creep. But I want to hit it again because it's important. I'm going to put it under the delayed gratification.
Yep.
Right. I talked about earlier, getting wealthy is easy. And the third step is the one that trips most people up. They kind of get, okay, I need money to make money. Got it. I need to become really good at something. Got it. And then I'm like, you need to do it for 10 years. And they're like, I'm out. I'm willing to do it for 8 seconds.
Yep.
I'm going to delay gratifications for 8 minutes. And it's 10 years. I looked at my personal network of folks, which obviously are very real estate oriented. Many of them, all of them that have been doing this for 10 years or more are millionaires. Most of them are multimillionaires.
When is it in your career of not your software sales career, your real estate career, when is it you felt, hey, I have I won't even go mastery. When is it you felt I have my sea legs under me? I have a very high level of confidence of what I'm going to buy is going to be a good purchase.
About 6 months. It takes 6 months of, again, let's remember what I just said there. 6 months, 180 days in a row of looking at my very, very tiny buy box. That's the difference. And that's what makes one rental at a time work is I looked at one search criteria for 3.5 years. At the end of 6 months, I knew it better than any agent, any broker in the city of Fresno, and I didn't live there. 3 or 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2-car garage between 1,200 and 1,700 square feet and 93703. If it was in that buy box, I looked at it. If a price changed, I looked at it. If it got sold, I looked at it. If it came back on the market, I looked at it. The key is focus. When I talk about step 2, becoming elite, that's elite. Look at one thing over and over and over and never stop. And at the end of 6 months, you should be elite at that.
That is hyper focus is what you are there. You're looking at a particular square footage in a particular zip code with a particular amount of house, rooms in a house. I guess I'll ask one more thing there. Why were you not looking where you lived? Obviously, it wasn't as good of a rental market, I would say. Yeah.
I looked here for a year, 52 Sundays in a row. I couldn't cash flow. If you were going to buy in the Silicon Valley in 2000 and 2001, you had to bet on appreciation.
Yep.
And that went against what I was trying to do. I was trying to replace my income, not gamble. I came to this after losing 160 grand. I wasn't going to do that again.
Right.
So I wanted cash flow. So yeah, I tried the Bay Area for a year. It just didn't work.
Heck yeah. Well, nicely done I know you talk about this all the time, but like with a concise explanation summary of what you've done, hyper focus and holding yourself accountable to looking at stuff ad nauseum is obviously the way to create success in your business.
There you go. Well, Taylor, you do a lot of amazing stuff. Thank you for getting through these technical issues. Where can people find you?
Yeah, find us at Life Goal Investments. We're on both Instagram and TikTok, putting out daily stuff.
Thank you, buddy. Take care.